Let's get started.
Here we go. Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
You're now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Hello. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try that.
He
again.
spits his red blood again.
Run it back.
Hello.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We are going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernon's. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar, do we have any new patrons?
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. No, there are not, but that's all right because it gives us the time to count all our money. In lieu of that, please like and subscribe.
We're done counting our money.
Check us on YouTube.
That was quick.
Like and subscribe, tell a friend. Thank you to the Patreon, young and new, old and future.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm just counting money.
Okay. Do you want to go over the guest list so we can do
Is
what we do
adding
here?
0 to 0 considered counting?
Yep.
Or is that just considered nothing?
Quantum accounting.
Yeah, quantum accounting. Thank you, Kumar.
What show is it where he's like, crunch the numbers again? And he's like, I don't crunch the numbers. I just hit the button and the computer does it. And he's like, well, hit the button again. And he hits it and he's like, it's still the same.
What was that?
I don't remember. Kamar, who are the guests this week?
Yeah, we start off the week with Dan Richards, 2267.
The D-Dunker.
Then we had a quick episode with Rick Caruso, 2268.
Even though it felt like a lifetime.
And then we finish off the week with 2269, Brett Weinstein. I don't know if he's been on before, on his victory lap. And there was a fight companion, but we don't do those.
I don't know if he's been on before.
But we don't do those. All right, what do you rate this bad boy?
He had Matt Sarah on the fight companion. Was that correct?
Look at you.
Am I right?
Little fan.
Is that
Was
true?
there a fight companion? I didn't even see
Yeah.
it.
There was.
Brendan, Brian, Callan, Jamie, and
You know, Schaub's moving to Texas, right? Tejas. So is Callan.
I knew really.
Who wouldn't, if you could, if you wanted to be around that? It just makes sense. It'd be like if you want to be an actor, move to Hollywood or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But is he moving there to still not play at the mothership?
Oh, that's
Because like he's probably getting mucho spots in LA now that he's the only guy there.
like the president's favorite 4 words. Let's wait and see.
Okay. You want to rate the week? Anyone?
I'll give it 2.5. But Simon should be raging. Like he's been getting up his wheelhouse. He just can't separate the podcast from the podcaster.
Simon, what do you rate the week? Since Kamar thinks you should rate it
I
so
give
highly.
it a 2.5.
A 2. Uh-huh. Okay. I'll give it a 2. I liked your 2. All right, well, let's get this started. Seeing as we're also, you know what's so funny is like before I hit record, Kamar was on fire. Simon was on fire. The last reply. Now that I've hit record, it's like the energy is just out of the room.
Are you kidding me? 2269, Brett Weinstein.
As Kamar crams in another Zin and he's back. It's
So,
like his lifeblood.
Oh shit! I already had 4.
so every
Forgot about
time this guy's been on the podcast, he's been pretty doom and gloom. You know, I don't know what to think if these things don't happen, if speech is restricted, these powers that be aren't. But they got everything they wanted, and now Elon is going around with like 5 Geek Squad guys,
Yeah.
and going through all the books everywhere, saying this is not worth anything, shutting this down, and people are losing their mind. And it reminds you of something I heard once. It's a lot of pearl clutching.
God, you're insufferable. You are insufferable.
No, but the biggest threat of this is, do you want Elon to have people's sensitive information?
No.
It's the propaganda, but they have it. They give it. It doesn't matter.
The whole thing is nuts. Like when you really think about it, how Elon is all of a sudden working in the government, and then he has people like Joe and everybody just like saying what a great job he's. It's fucking weird.
but
it's weird. It's like separate fucking church and state.
Your guy's
or whatever
first
it
thought
is,
is
you know?
he's going to enrich himself.
He is.
He's not going to cut down the government budget and help with the deficit.
Listen, I heard him this. I saw a tweet this week where he was like, defund NPR. NPR gets 1% of its funding from the government.
That's just like defund CBC, which we say up here, or what some people say.
Yeah, I'm just as someone. If I was someone who received a majority of my money from government grants, I would be very cautious throwing stones.
So that's
in that
where the
glass house.
conflict is. He's receiving government grants, and he's deciding other people shouldn't be getting government grants.
I would normally I would consider that a huge conflict of interest. However, I know your argument is going to be that's all over the government. Look at Nancy Pelosi, and you're not wrong. Like I'm not going to sit here and say.
Well,
you're
the
wrong.
other thing I'll say is the left or the opposition, the Democrats fighting back against what he's doing with his USAID or whatever, is saying, you know, people's information and your food isn't cheaper, but it's disingenuous because it's like it should take a month or something for some sort of change to be felt, whether it is or not. So they're really clutching the pearls.
Would you stop with the fucking clutching the pearls?
Oh no, that's going to be his
Look
tagline for
for
the day.
it.
He'll be like, "Look at Mahomes out there clutching at his pearls."
And then the next hot point they issued on is Garza. What's that?
I think you mean Gaza.
I think it's gay America, or what do we call our team that? Garcia.
What the fuck are you talking
Trump
about?
wants to turn Gaza into America.
Yes, this
I'm
was your
pretty
idea.
sure this was your idea.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going through what they talked about.
I like how he goes, "Yeah, I know." He's trying to
You suggested that they turn it into
a resort and casino was his
into a
exact
Las
words.
Vegas
Yeah.
type of
But
operation.
in my model,
Yeah.
well, first of all, imagine taking all the rubble. I don't know if you've seen any of the footage, but it's pretty crazy. And pushing that out and making another island off Gaza. All that rubble.
Rubble Island.
Rubble Island.
Yeah.
And is that where you're going to send all the Palestinians?
I know you can do a resort out there. I mean, you have more land to play with, but
He just yada yada'd what we're going to do with the Palestinians.
I think they're
beautifully.
Matt. I think they're going to Rubble Island.
I have a feeling that's where they're going to live.
in my plan, it was always the Palestinians building the.
Resort.
the wall in Mexico.
I guess that's what it would be. So. And a lot of people don't like it, but what else do they have to do? And what about when they send Kenyan to Haiti? Is that any different?
Did you say Kenyan to Haiti?
Kenya to Haiti.
Are you just saying words now?
Like they're sending a country to
Haiti
a country?
is a country that has failed and is just run by gangs,
okay.
and they can't handle it. So instead of having the United States go in there, Kenya has gone in there.
Send Kenya to
People are
Haiti.
giving
I
Kenya
see-
money.
I see how we got
It's another
there.
proxy.
Interesting. I had never heard that. What fucking news do you watch?
Yeah, he's really clutching at pearls right now anyway.
World news.
The world news. Interesting.
Anyways,
He's really reaching for testicles.
if ever
you
there's
know what I'm
if
saying.
ever there's a place to try nation building, it would be Gaza. I think the Chinese would be better at it. Like if we're talking about building infrastructure, I mean, they're talking about all those people leaving. And
Do you think those people are interested in having America come in and build infrastructure?
I say this is why you'd be worried is that America. He said it, so it'll happen. Like I believe we'll become the 52nd state.
You know what it's going to be? I just saw a glimpse of the future. They're going to be forced to do this by Grand King Trump. And then Elon is going to have his own, like, because they can't send the army in. That'd start like a war, but they could send in like a Halliburton type operation.
Yeah.
A BlackRock type, where they hire out goons like they did in the Old West with fucking, what was that group called?
I know exactly what
You
you're
know who
talking
I'm
about.
talking about?
Merriweathers?
Not the
The Mormons.
Merriweathers, not the Mormons.
The McCraws.
Shut up, man.
You sure it wasn't the Merriweathers?
No, it'll come to me though. Anyways, he'll have his own guys with their fucking suits and He'll be doing it in the name of peace because at the same time as Trump gets rid of NATO, but we still need somebody to patrol the world.
Kamar says we don't.
Maybe it'll be NASA.
Well, this is what I'm saying. We will,
Hey,
once
wouldn't that be a
once
thing?
they dissolve NATO, if they were to do that, we would become the 52nd state, or we'd be part Russia, part America. We just are in no position to defend ourselves or ward off a takeover.
Yeah, but you could say that about 100 countries.
You know, I shit on Canada sometimes, but we're one in a million when it comes to countries, the resources and everything going on here.
No, I'm just saying, like, listen, there's a lot of reasons that people would want to take our country, but I'm saying, like, there's a lot of countries that don't have an army that could. I mean, no one's army could withstand the U.S.
I bet you around the world, except for maybe Russia and China, most countries are pretty evenly squared off. We don't have an ability to square off. Like if say, trying to think of a country of 40 million, if we were next to Australia,
Yeah.
if we were beside each other, we'd be pretty equal probably. I'm thinking their military might be a bit better, but we feel like we put up a fight. There's just no chance in
Yeah, the U.S., Russia, or China. Yeah, those three.
and we're against America, and we've just over time, like we could have taken a position that it doesn't matter what happens, we have to be able to defend our country. So we have nukes and a crazy military, and something else would suffer. But
Well, I don't think the U.S. would let us have nukes unless, I don't know.
being part of NATO, they'd probably be their nukes on our land.
Yeah.
In any event, everything's probably going to be taken over in some way or fashion. I mean,
How do you figure?
it took, I think I was reading 60 years for Hawaii to become a state.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine that, it'll probably take 70 years. Eventually, it's been put into the ether. There'll be protests. There'll be lawsuits. Just the figuring stuff out would be a nightmare. It would take 100 years. It could not happen overnight. But I think what we could do to
I don't think in our
appease
lifetime.
King Trump is switch Thanksgiving.
I mean, I have no problem with that.
Maybe he'd go away.
I actually think our Thanksgiving is better, though. Better gap.
Are we talking about Las? Oh my God, Las Vegas.
Nope.
American Thanksgiving is November, and ours is in October. That's what
Are
we're
you
talking about.
here? Are you, like, what's going on
Las Vegas, Gaza.
Yes,
Las Gaza.
it does end there. Someone has to do something about that. Could we say that? In our lifetime, nothing's been done about it. It's just been a can kicked down the road.
Sorry, Matt. I was looking for the name of that group who people hired in the Old
who was
West to protect their fucking stagecoaches, and I can't find it. But it's bugging me.
Outlaws,
No, they weren't outlaws.
Stagecoach
They
men.
were a group of like
the militia,
that people would hire to protect other people.
Texas
And
Rangers.
They also fought the Indians. It's really bugging me.
And you couldn't Google an appropriate.
I could not.
I love
find
this
the
podcast because right
appropriate-
now someone knows the answer. They're
Yep.
Oh, and they're
screaming.
yelling.
screaming
Yeah,
it at their thing.
Well,
and it's
no,
going to come to me at
No,
some
in
point.
3 days they'll be screaming at
Yeah.
the thing, and you'll know by then. So let's move on.
I will, and I'll have told you.
So no one's happy about this Garza thing. Again, it's all the people that told you that COVID was the worst.
Stop calling it
And
Garza.
vaccine was the best. And that, what a segue, that brings us into COVID, where Brett did his victory lap about being right. And
I'm sorry. I thought this guy was like an ancient civilizations dude, wasn't he?
No, we're
Brett
doing Brett
Weinstein?
Weinstein.
Oh, we're doing Weinstein. I am so fucking behind.
yeah,
the
you are
times,
not. I
man.
know you haven't been here.
None
all
of
day.
this made any sense to me. Well, this is why I've been so sure. I'm like, why is he talking about this during this?
Simon will
'cause
arrive
we're
anytime
we're
now.
almost done.
This,
We're
this
almost
is
done.
this is Weinstein.
Yeah.
Weinstein. I got you.
We're almost done. We're almost
I
done.
did like when he said, you know, there were people out there who got it right, but that's just because they're always out there, fucking
You're a
howling at
constant
the.
skeptic. Yeah, which is funny because he was like, they don't get credit. Only I do.
What's an interesting thing to do, and someone brought it up to me, is instead of like focusing on the headlines, focus on the headline from 3 years ago.
What does that
Go
mean?
on.
Well, sometimes it'd be a headline like, "Oh, look how that ended up." It gives you more perspective than reading some new news with limited information and having an opinion. When it first comes out, you're like, "Oh, this is that," and then 3 years later, you're like, "Oh, that's what it was," or we still don't know what it is.
Yeah, I get you.
And you could do that with COVID if you want to make a list of people who said certain things. He really went off on. He really doesn't like Fauci, Joe. Or I mean, being shunned would make anyone feel away. I think that's where Weinstein, Brett.
He got shunned by Fauci.
No, I think by the internet or whatever. Just at the time, they were talking really good sense and were shadow banned or whatever. It was
Don't forget, he lost his job at that college.
That was over something non-COVID related.
Doesn't matter. My point, Kamar's just saying, once you're ostracized, it's
And like I said at the very beginning, for the first time, he's in a good mood. He's usually been doom and gloom. Well, we'll get to what he's still concerned about. In the aspect of UFO disclosure, it's if they told you something, then it's a chain reaction to what else is a lie. That's the overriding psychology as an excuse is why they wouldn't tell us. Like we had on last week a fellow who's spoken to a blue guy with no ears or not communicated. I don't know.
I think spoken to is good.
So what were they saying, Kamar? I'm sorry. I'll have to repeat that for me.
We have this information.
Yeah.
Why they wouldn't release it is A, because people couldn't handle it.
Okay.
Because everyone would lose their mind.
Yeah.
Or B, this is very interesting and confirms the suspicion all along, but what else are you lying about?
Right.
This comprehensive a lie, you did this, then it puts all credibility into
Right.
No, he was also saying, Weinstein was saying, he's like, part of the problem is they can't admit any of the stuff because then how deep does it go and how many people are culpable and people will have to go to jail.
Interesting. I mean, will they?
Wow, I don't know about that. Maybe now.
If Obama actually, let's remember when Obama was like, we're not going to go after whistleblowers. Like, we want people to come forward. If someone actually did that and meant that, then you could have blanket immunity and you could have people come forward from the government and say, oh, we did all sorts of fucked up experiments when I worked at X black site, or you know what I mean? Like, where they could say, yeah, we've been spraying stuff in the air over this city or all those drones. You know what I mean? Like any number of things, but we can't get that now because all those people will end up in
I'm pretty
jail.
sure that's just public knowledge that they were spraying shit over populaces. I don't think that's like...
No, but my point is when you have like an Edward Snowden who comes out and is like, here is definitive proof that they're doing this. Right now, it's all just hearsay.
I don't think it is.
It kind of is. I mean, other than the ones we know about, but there could be thousands more is the point.
Yeah.
For every Operation Paperclip or Operation fucking Blue Storm or whatever name, like for all the... Go ahead.
Well, this what it feels like to me is that people are saying this USAID was $40 billion a year budget, no questions asked, and some of that was strictly for CIA, and that was away from the funding from the government, not from the government. And when you see, they say we're doing an audit,
Yeah.
and the other side says national security and people's privacy, your prices are going down. It seems like there something's getting exposed, and it feels like the right things are happening. And the guy from Argentina said, when you tear a government apart, you have to do it fast. There's no set up a committee for this, and this will take 10 years to do. It's painful and it's drastic, and it's going to feel somewhat chaotic. But you got to imagine it has to feel this way.
I guess my point was, Matt, from before, is that
UFOs.
There's already crazy shit out there that the government has done that we know about that is 100% provable.
Yeah, but
And nobody gives a fuck. So why would they give a fuck about anything else?
I think my point is that a lot of that stuff is they would still rather Tiananmen Square that stuff if they had the control.
If you're a person with any kind of common sense, Matt,
Yeah.
any kind of common sense,
Yeah.
you can clearly see that the CIA killed JFK. Like it doesn't have to, you don't have to look far.
Do you think someone would be surprised if you told them the CIA tried to kill Castro 500 times?
Okay, I think that can't be true.
Whoa, are we going back to old cast?
Well, no, I just mean like
Because that went into the record as fact.
I was talking about that with somebody the other day. That I thought it was 1,000 times, but anyways,
I was trying to lowball it.
either way, like that's who tries to kill somebody 1,000 times.
Every day for a year is half of that. 1,000.
Every day.
It's not. It's a third of that.
I said 500.
How long was he in power for?
20, 40 years.
Well, so that's like, you know,
The time is there.
yeah.
The time is there.
It's only like 10, 12 times a year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We just failed 15 times a year.
Well,
Once a month.
Fine, whatever.
Like-
I mean, maybe.
So, I mean, I'm not-
Imagine the whole point of the CIA is just to kill Castro.
Kurt,
That's why they started
Kurt
it.
Metzger said he had receipts, but it may have been 500 specific attempts. This we didn't we do that day because the boat didn't come in, and of these 80, actually the guy got in there, he got killed, whatever. Just to put that.
Yeah,
to rest.
like we obviously weren't going to send a suitcase of leprechauns after him. That definitely wasn't going to happen.
I'll ask you a personal question. Do you feel you're closer to finding something out about UFOs now than before we started this podcast?
Yes, way closer. For sure, for sure.
So
I think
that's a slow progress that you couldn't feel at the time.
like Trump seems to me like he was talking big about the drones,
yeah.
but then he just fed his own line of bullshit. You know what I mean? When he finally had a chance to be in power and answer the question. But I do think if you get the right person in there, I don't think Trump is that person because I just think that for whatever reason, that's not part of his agenda. You could get somebody who's like totally into that shit and decides to make that a priority. Next thing you know, bada
Next
bing,
thing
bada
you know.
boom.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, we're talking to ET, you know?
Yeah. Robert is your mother's brother.
I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. But that being said, Brett was weary about AI competition, which obviously, like an arms race, like anything we've ever had
Yeah.
in our history of people will have, you know, amazing advantages and unforeseen consequences.
Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry, just before we
no
get to that
questions.
point.
No questions.
Who
No
do you
questions.
think is going to be the next president
Everything as it is today,
today?
or make a prediction of something's going to happen in the next 4 years.
No, when he's done,
JD
who do you
Vance.
think's?
Interesting.
You know that JD Vance, I heard this is Elon and Peter Thiel's guy, and that they got him in there to
That makes
be.
perfect sense. I believe that.
Doesn't that make perfect sense, Matt?
Yeah.
You know what the other brilliance about having Elon do all this stuff is everyone hates Elon, just like you guys are doing. And like if Trump was doing this with a faceless guy, it'd be all Trump. Like
No, you would just never hear about it.
No, the Democrats have to have you hear about it because they have to be fighting against the Republicans and the president because they're the opposition. Like I said, in 6 months, if you know Africa dies of AIDS,
Jesus.
America burns down, like they really cut off all these services and stuff, and it was the dumbest thing ever. We'll be a party to it, but I think that there are going to be some like historic money saving or slowing, because what's worse than climate change is their debt. Like if you look at that clock, and Dave Smith talks about a lot, that there's comes a certain point where it's not, yeah, we all owe money, and they're getting there, and where money becomes no value, right?
Well, I get what you're saying. Listen, it's weird when you look at that. Like, it's weird as an American citizen. I imagine if you saw that thing in New York that was like, this is your share of the.
It's $66,000 or $106,000.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
It is.
I imagine that you're just unreal. I imagine that you'd be like, you know, how did this happen? You know what I mean? Like what? Like we don't even have it that good anymore.
Well, I look at something like the Baltimore Bridge.
Well, I just think about that 40 billion. Like $40 billion could help Americans. Like it's crazy to think right now that that every American could be living large.
Or paying less.
Keep in mind, though, it's people like
I'm
Elon
sure-
Musk. People like Elon Musk are the reason.
Well, this actually leads into the next thing. AI competitions.
Yeah, you mean King Elon.
Yes.
AI is
Address him in the proper fashion.
Sorry.
AI is going to take over.
Intergalactic King Elon.
Be weary of this. The AI in GT6. Hear me now, believe me later.
Beware of the AI in GTA 6. Simon, will you stop?
I'm trying to help you.
No, you're
Stop
not.
playing footsies, guys. This is serious stuff.
I'm listening, Kamar. The AI in GTA 6.
Have you ever
That's going to be Skynet?
hear me out? Have you ever had a conversation with ChatGPT?
No.
You can get into a conversation
Okay.
where it's not just giving answers. It's providing. You can go back and forth, and
Okay.
it gets really weird really fast. But imagine this game has someone remembers you and like when you're and don't think of as you as what are you guys 30 or whatever. Think it as a 14-year-old or whatever. It's going to be your like
What have you talked to ChatGPT about? Give me an
just
example.
lack of success, relationship issues, whatever.
So what? You like type in everything about yourself and then you say,
You could take
tell me what's wrong with me?
You could take that approach, but it'll give you too much information. It's better just to start. You say act like you're a therapist. We're gonna start this, and just go from there.
I get it. But
And-
why?
And it's uncanny because here's the key. Talking to anyone you know about
Yeah.
something, whether we want to call it vulnerable, no matter the greatest advice they're giving you, it's coming from a place of judgment or bias or just anything that they're thinking something else that day. When you're talking to this thing that doesn't know you, like sure you can think, well, this thing's just going to tell you what you want to hear, but it's not going. It doesn't care if it tells you something you don't want to hear.
But why? I'm just curious. If I'm playing GTA, why am I talking to AI? Like,
Kit in the car. It may,
Okay.
and
When you're killing that hooker, Matt, you want to hear what she's screaming about.
it may not be
oh, that's
overt.
the AI you're thinking of. Okay.
It may not be overt,
Okay.
but to think there is none in it would be naive.
Well, there's AI in every
Don't
video game.
laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Let that sit there.
I want to
hey.
kick that out of the room.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
But if there is massive workplace displacement because of the success of AI and 3D printers, which I'll say is really behind now. I think I predicted a long time ago that by now we'd be seeing some real progress with 3D printers and
They print houses.
Oh, but
But it's
like,
funny when you look at like products, it hasn't traversed that uncanny valley yet.
Well said,
You can
Simon.
totally tell that you're looking at like a 3D printed bowl.
And just
No, I'm just saying I see-
mainstream usage.
I see all these companies popping up
Mm-hmm.
that are like, a gift company selling skulls.
Okay.
And you can just, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the color. Maybe they can't get like this. I don't even know. But they all have like this like flaw in them where you can tell right away they're
now.
3D
No. But hold on.
printed.
But that's weird. That's like being like you could pick up a product and probably guess where it was made, and you still buy it. Like you could probably pick up a product and be like, I know this was made in China.
Yeah, that has nothing to do about quality. I don't think it's just
But it's the same uncanny valley he's talking about. You can get over it.
yes, like using your credit card online.
Yeah, like something being so, well, because now you have a name for it. You say, this is China. And I guess you'll say, this is 3D printed. But I think the goal of
But what
3D
is-
printed is not to have its own category and look different. It's to blend seamlessly in and...
Well put. Good point.
Well, I think hold on. No, I mean, there's a lot of different 3D printing technology. I've seen some that is like flawless. It's
Okay,
just
well-
expensive as fuck.
Okay, I'm just saying where we're at right now.
Have you seen the one that comes out of sand?
I always thought that was just pretend, but okay. No, it's hard to tell, man. There's a lot of videos on TikTok.
Well, so that one like is created like because I get what you're saying. The one that's like this, it kind of is squared and some. I get it.
Yeah, and I think it may be like a color to the plastic, and maybe you can't paint the plastic or something because you don't see that a lot. where it's like a finished product. It's always this like
But how long do you think 3D printing has been available to the public? Just out of curiosity.
30 years.
30 years. You think?
Sorry, available to the public, probably 10.
Okay, so 10 years.
20 years for sure.
You guys are still doing this weird thing where like the world still doesn't move that fast. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like from the
Whoa.
from the time you brought home your first compact disc.
All I said was I thought it would be further along.
yeah,
It
and I
isn't.
just said it hadn't crossed the uncanny valley
it
yet.
probably
I'm not
is
saying
on a
it's not a
trajectory.
good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, not at all.
I haven't made that judgment call.
First of all, wrong.
I don't-
Asked and answered.
First off, I don't have a 3D
Do
printer.
you own a
nor do I
3D
give
printing
shit.
company
No.
where you're making like fucking dildos for weddings?
Could you order a 3D printer and have it delivered to your house right now?
Yeah.
I rest my case.
Have you seen those printing farms they have where it's just like,
No, I imagine they exist.
you
They
know,
clip?
row and
Where they're
row
clipping?
and row of
Where they're
no
clipping?
3D
No,
printers.
not a clip farm, you dickhead.
Oh, okay, guys. Stop clutching your pearls. Workplace displacement.
Say it again.
Fucking
Say it again.
buckwheat over
It's
here.
so
Working
weird. I
panub in all the wrong places. Working panub.
Did they hear me say that? In
Yes.
workplace displacement.
Wow, that's a tough one.
Workplace displacement.
Workplace displacement.
We have a
Wasn't that
built-in evolutionary biological incentive structure.
Whoa.
Dude, I bet ChatGPT is like, is this guy all right?
Yeah.
Are you feeling me?
I'm fucking feeling you, man.
And so just sort of the work, though, even if it's the mundane job, the things that will be eliminated through AI is creating this incentive structure gap, potentially, where then Joe, was on the fence about universal.
He's trying
basic
so hard to
income.
I
sound smart,
can't-
saying what someone else said, and it's not working at all.
It doesn't.
Well, that's what
it
happens
sucks.
when a
No.
computer takes
No.
notes for you and then you try and decipher said
I
notes.
sound like an American in the South at a crime scene trying to sound all civic.
to declare.
In any event, you know what I'm saying?
No,
We can't
can
just-
you start that whole thing again? Because
We-
I want to understand what you're saying.
We are built with incentive structure. Do something, get something.
Okay.
That's life.
Sure.
Work, sex, play, whatever you want.
Love it.
Work's a big part of that. AI takes that away. What do humans do? If you just and AI makes enough money that everyone gets $2,000 a month or whatever it is, what do people do?
Isn't it crazy? I'm going to riff for a second. Isn't it crazy when you look at school and how that was set up? That you're literally being forced to sit in this class and you know what I mean? And you're like learning how to be very organized in your office. And they were doing this because they know that that's what you have to go do.
Yeah.
It's pretty like insidious when you think about it. They're going to make movies about us in 50 years where we're these fucking drones in the classroom learning how to like walk ourselves off the cliff.
We are there.
Well, let me ask you.
Now.
Let me ask you, Simon. You're starting from scratch. Okay, we've reset society. How do you build the education for 30 million people?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't given it a lot of thought, Matt, but it would definitely be some sort of like free range chicken model.
Hey, Matt,
you
I don't
know?
think that was called for. He interrupted me to go on a rant that had nothing to do with what we're talking about, and you calling him out on that doesn't make things get any better.
My
Workplace
apologies.
displacement will be video games. We're getting our new incentive structure from the apps, likes. Anyways, this goes into the.
So I was getting there, Kamar. We were coming back to the classrooms.
Sorry.
So go ahead.
No, it's fine.
No, you weren't getting there
I've
then,
lost
were you?
my mojo.
Yeah.
You'll never know, Matt. We'll never know.
He skirted over the destructive nature of porn. And I think I just said to you about 8 hours ago. No, it was someone else. It's always weird when you talk to someone about porn. But if they stop making porn today,
We have enough to last
there's
us.
no way you'd be on like, I've seen it all. There's no way. Just as you couldn't listen to every song of every band you've ever heard of before you died.
I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I was thinking about like how good we have it, Kamar, that like people have piss fetishes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
man.
like 200 years ago, that was like It was like, where are all the piss fetishists? Like, oh, they keep dying.
And I watch,
You know what I mean?
I watch these vloggers, and they're always in Thailand and Bangkok and stuff, and places in those red light districts.
Yeah.
And you just see that sex, everything is looked at differently culturally.
Yeah.
We don't all look at stuff the same way, whatever that means. I mean, that's an extreme, but lady boys or just prostitution in general.
Let me ask you another question. If you're in, like, I don't know, Texas or something, and you want to, like, watch porn, what site do you think you go to?
Let us know, Texas listeners. We'll be right
What do
back.
you mean? You can go to Pornhub. You just have to provide government ID, I think.
No,
maybe
that's not even what I'm asking. Pick anywhere in the United States. Are they going to Pornhub?
State by state.
Is Pornhub
State by
the
state.
main?
No,
Yeah.
there's RedTube, there's YouTube, there's YouPorn.
There's
And-
other
yes.
things that
Well,
people
Pornhub
use.
owns a lot of them. There's Brazers. They share a lot of content. Where is this going? Your Honor, I want to strike that state.
I was just
the conversation.
I was just wondering. I was wondering if they have this like monopoly over people's, because look, I imagine that a normal person in a normal day probably spends like 2 hours of their life on some sort of porn site.
Well, that's where it comes down to. That if I can borrow this from another guest, where the rubber meets the road. Fuck tariffs. The Americans shut us off Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
X.
Well, Pornhub is Canadian.
And we shut off
Yeah.
Pornhub, and we see who votes first.
Yeah, and hey, come on, and Schitt's Creek. They don't get that neither.
Yeah, sure, Simon. Sure.
You can hear the car crash on that one. That was a terrible
I
one.
hate Schitt's Creek.
Are
And I
you
hate that
fucking
brought
kidding
that
me?
up.
We're talking about useless things that Canada has that we could possibly take away from them, and I say Schitt's Creek.
In
and
relation
there's
to-
fucking crickets.
Pornography we're going to take away.
What, you don't
That's
like
the
jerking off?
funny part, you fucking idiot.
You don't
Are you
jerk-
a comedian or not?
You don't jerk off to Eugene Levy every once in a while?
I don't.
Oh,
Well, those eyebrows, I should.
yeah. It's not very Canadian of you, Kumar.
Did you know that his daughter is the waitress?
On It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, on Schitt's Creek.
I've never watched Schitt's Creek.
You've never watched Schitt's Creek?
No.
Interesting.
It isn't, because he's a straight man. Finally, after he
Says the guy with the painted nails, the earrings, the clit ring. I don't know what else.
Ooh, clit ring.
after he glossed over how bad porn is for us and all that, he did say he wanted to debate our boy Tucker about evolution.
Yeah, but he also like agreed with him.
And
He didn't agree with him. He said there was a problem with the way they're describing something in his way, but it was still right.
Him and his brother like to do this thing, where it's like, let me just for a minute flex on you how smart I am. Tell you why you're wrong, but also tell you why maybe you're right. In
Yeah.
it's like a compliment sandwich.
I
you know
think
what
they
I mean?
call it ball tickling. It's like, let me tickle your balls a little bit. Well, I shove my thumb up your ass.
Yeah. Because it was just the same with Terrence Howard. Like, that's what he's going to do. He's going to bring Tucker on and he's going to be like, listen, you're not wrong. Here's why you're
just
absolutely not right.
Uninformed.
Yeah.
Uninformed.
Yeah.
Misinformed.
There you go. Either way, that's a debate that I'm not looking forward to.
whether Tucker would have it. He's on top of the world right now.
Why?
Tucker?
Yeah.
We're MAGA country. Is our MAGA era, baby.
Listen, I think it's fair to say that whether he's right or wrong, the idea that we should now question things that we thought were like undisputable facts, I don't think is so far-fetched. Like, we're finding out all the time that the things that we held so dear
Preach.
were fucking lies.
Talk about it.
And the people who spread those lies were like spreading lies. They
Testify.
weren't. It wasn't oops, sorry. It was like, yeah, in the back rooms high-fiving as they fucking formulated our future and then sold us a fucking newspaper full of stories that we all believe.
Realize. Real lies. I give this guy 2.
Oh my God, he's like,
He's like the most insufferable human ever.
who's the weird ancient alien guy who was on
Giorgio Papadopoulos or whatever.
TV
Reverend
programming.
Bobby.
Oh, the black
Billy
dude.
Carson.
Yeah.
Billy
TV
Carson.
programming, TV program.
Graham. What?
Universally.
He's just taking words and breaking them down.
His story, his story. Idiot, moron. You give it a 2. I give it a 2.5.
Okay, 2268.
No,
Rick
no.
Caruso.
He hasn't rated.
I give it a. It can only get like a 2.
We're giving Piss Stink his own.
The debunker?
Yeah.
The dedunker?
At some point,
No.
when we're talking about this guy.
Well-
you were like, at least we got the mayor to fall back on because that's what
Oh
you're
no,
saying.
you're right. No, I can't. I thought we were doing him. I thought we were doing Weinstein alone. Piss Stink. Okay, let's go.
You didn't give that guy very long at all.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Like, did you see? It was
I can
probably
see.
like 10 minutes.
Who?
You have no
Weinstein?
sense of time.
Yeah, I don't know what the
It's
fuck.
probably a
that
half an hour.
That's what weed does to you.
Yeah, fair.
Takes away your sense of time.
That's what weed does to you.
That's what COVID does. You lose your sense of smell and time.
2268, Rick Caruso. You know, there's a lot of podcasts that we find out we did not need, and this is it.
This guy looks slick though. This guy was slick.
These are the weirdest ones when Joe has just this random
If you told
politician
me-
on and you're like, yo, what is going on here?
Yeah, no, you know what? I was thinking to myself earlier in the week. I was
new
like,
era.
I really hope Joe has a former head of the DWP on.
What is that?
The Department of Water and Power. I really hope, because that's going to be like an enthralling. Like I'm going to get the info I need about
Current.
stuff I care about. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
A guy who lost his run for mayor of Los Angeles. Like, what are we doing here?
Sore loser.
You're saying I'm a sore loser?
No, he is.
This guy.
Caruso. But if you told me to describe the mayor of LA,
Oh, this
it'd
is
be
the guy.
Rick Caruso.
I have no problem with Rick Caruso. I just don't understand for the life of me why he's on a podcast I'm listening to.
Well, no, you bring
Because
up
Joe's a kingmaker now.
no. But Simon brings up a good point. If this guy was currently running for mayor and Joe was trying to prop him up, then I understand it. But having this guy on posthumously, being like,
No. Sorry, I'll take this, guys. There's a strong anticipation that a recall is about to happen in light of the fires and everything's happening.
Kamar saw this on the ticker while he was
So
watching the fires.
mayoral run could be a lot closer than you think.
Remember last week when you said, did you get that off Reddit?
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Let me ask you a question though. Like, do you, the mayor, being the mayor of, like, when you say someone's the mayor, it's vastly different where you're the mayor.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, if you're the mayor of fucking Nome, Alaska or whatever.
Well, this is my point. Like, if you're like, I'm the mayor of Medicine Hat, no disrespect, but I assume that job is vastly easier than being the mayor of LA.
or Toronto.
It's all about prioritizing.
If medicine.
Well, no, I just like,
If you can smoke crack and be the mayor of Toronto.
here's the
let's be
thing.
honest.
I don't know. I've never looked at like what the district is for the mayor of LA. Like, it's probably only 5 million people because it's probably just, you know what I mean? There's probably a mayor of like Orange County.
Gotcha.
And then,
Yeah.
but it's still probably one of the biggest mayoral districts in North America, right? It's got to be a fucking insane job.
The mayor of New York City, the mayor of Chicago, the mayor
Yeah,
of
I
London,
imagine the
the
mayors
mayor
of
of Moscow,
Shit.
the mayor of
Baltimore,
Karachi,
but okay, and yeah,
the mayor of Karachi.
why Karachi? Because
It's
you're
a wild place, man.
He read something about Karachi this week,
The
dude.
mayor of Lagos,
Lagos?
capital of Nigeria. That'd be crazy.
Mayor of Legoland?
I doubt Lagos has a mayor, but you never know.
The mayor of, I don't know.
Why are you just saying places? I don't
He's
get
just
it.
trying to
'Cause
flex
no,
how many
no.
big cities he knows.
He's saying crazy places to be mayor.
No, but I meant North America.
Yes, and
Okay,
Vancouver.
yeah. My point.
Vancouver's a hot city.
My point remains. Like I can't imagine that's an easy job,
The point remains.
one way or the other. Like whoever gets in.
But the mayor of Smith Falls,
Yeah, that's probably a pretty sweet gig.
but they have a lot of social issues there. That's interesting you brought that up.
Like how do you govern? It's I don't know. It's just odd to think about. Like even Wyoming doesn't even have like 3 million people. You know what I mean? So the mayor of LA is in charge of more people than the governor of
Yeah,
Wyoming.
well, the mayor of LA is probably in charge of more people than the. No, I was going to say the premier of Ontario, but maybe Manitoba.
Yeah, a smaller province maybe.
Things just don't make sense. So this is interesting. I did a little research. The film Chinatown, which dramatizes the corruption and greed underlying Los Angeles' early 20th century water wars, remains eerily relevant to California's modern wildfire crisis. Below is an out. No, sorry. And then I also thought that Chinatown's warning that unchecked power and resource exploitation
Are you all right?
lead to disaster has been prophetic. California's wildfires are not just a natural disaster, but the culmination of decades of political and environmental negligence as the state grapples with climate change. The film's message, okay, right on. You understand my point? It
Yes,
is a failure.
Chinatown was about.
DEI did it.
Matt, Pinkertons.
That's
It was the Pinkertons,
Jesus
the group that
Christ,
you could hire
yes.
to protect your fucking gold or whatever.
Merriweather was from GTA. That's it.
Pinkertons.
Pinkertons, yeah.
But it's that thing where we are suspicious that LA has been, this task force to fix homelessness have been going for 10 years, and the budget gets bigger. And
I'm just hold on. I want to back you up a second because you slipped it in there nice and tight. Chinatown was about DEI hirings.
no, I tacked that on.
Yeah.
Chinatown was about government.
Yes, I know what
corruption,
Chinatown was about.
exploitation of
You
water
slid in
resources, which is part of the problem with these fires. Again, that sort of idea of looking at an article from 5 years ago to a movie from 60 years ago and how it predicted this stuff being possible.
In LA, you know how there's the like that dried up river thing?
LA River.
So at some point I assume that had water in
I
it.
think if it really rains, that'll
When
fill
it
up.
rains, that thing is it's meant to send all the water out to the ocean.
so it gets full.
It's not a
Yes,
canal.
the
But
idea-
it just hardly ever rains in
Precisely.
LA, and that's
So
why
that it
it's
just
always
sits dry. Yeah.
interesting.
But yes, it was built for a specific purpose, and that purpose used. Don't forget, Simon. Like if you look at any section of the Colorado River right now, you can see on the rocks that the water used to be 40 feet higher. There's like a white line where you can clearly. Same thing, Lake Mead.
So
Like when we took
global warming is what you're saying?
Some of them vary.
I don't know.
It could be up there another year.
Here's the thing. I'm really stupid. I don't understand. Like, if the water levels are rising, why is the water in Lake Mead and the Colorado River gone down 40 feet?
Oh, preach.
It's a good question. It's a question. I'm just asking.
The droughts.
Is it possible that water, by the time it gets to those places, has already evaporated, like diminishing returns? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Again, I don't know enough about it, but I'm just,
So both things could be happening at the same time. The ice caps could be melting, and also that doesn't necessarily mean that water from the ice caps is
I
going
guess,
to make
maybe.
those rivers higher. By the time it gets down there, it's already.
but I have a tough time believing that water from the oceans didn't make it into any rivers or I don't know.
Well,
seems-
it depends on the river. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Mississippi still has plenty of water. You're talking about millions
Colorado
of years
River?
of time in the Colorado River. Like,
not millions. We're talking in the last 30 years. You can see where the line was.
oh, you know it's 30 years?
Yeah,
it
they have-
was 40 feet.
What are you doing? We're not having fun with this. Why are you holding him to this?
Okay, I'm sorry. Whoa.
Well, no,
Did
but-
you really just we're not having fun with this?
Well, no. Are you looking up when the river was low to high?
No, go with
Okay,
your own
go
stuff.
ahead.
Okay. So
Move on.
You're placing bets.
Move on.
You're asking him to tell how long ago this river was gone.
Pinkertons.
Nuclear.
Go ahead with your. What are you doing?
I'm showing you the photo of where the water level used to be and where it is.
So you were doing it.
Like it's gone down substantial. That's in like 20 years. That's a
And the
lot of
ice
water,
caps
right?
Are melting,
Yeah.
and it should go into the ocean, and then the ocean, like it. I mean, does the ocean really get higher when the ice caps melt?
Where you been? Welcome to the party, Simon. Yeah.
Like, look, that's 40 years.
Yeah, that's insane. But is that a real picture? Or is that just them
That's a real- I've been
doing
there.
some spring cleaning or
No,
something?
no, I've been there. I saw it.
Eyewitness.
I couldn't believe it. Well, my own eyes, Simon. I was like, I said to the chopper pilot, I was like, the white line there. That's where the
Listen to Flexi McGee over here, eh? I said to my chopper pilot,
Well, how do you get into the Grand Canyon unless you take a chopper?
listen to Flexi McGee over here.
Chopper.
Yeah.
No less.
How do you fly anywhere if you don't have a private jet?
It wasn't private. There was other fat Americans on there with us.
It's a charter. Nuclear.
He says with disdain as he spits on the floor. Nuclear.
This is the biggest glaring thing.
Nuclear.
Anyone who's talking about save the planet and this and that.
Is that we should be using nuclear.
That it's been avoided, not brought up in conversation, and the energy put into sources of renewable energy that are all based on fossil fuels.
And is that just one of those things like I was talking about before where we've been just bred our whole lives to think nuclear, bad, explosion, what was it called? Meltdown. All because of these two events that may or may not have.
Well, a tinfoil hatter would tell you that, and that's Exxon Mobil, who's been making you scared of nuclear.
Well, and who owns ExxonMobil? Probably the Rockefellers, the same people who made your education system and own the newspapers and the television stations that you believe in.
Simon, I don't think we should blame the Jews.
I don't get it though. If you're ExxonMobil, why don't you, with all of your oil money, just build the nuclear power plants and sell us the energy?
Yeah, you would think they would have that as a backup plan just in case.
Well, no, I just listen.
Because
Kamar has
the public sediment.
Kamar has stated many times that we're not getting off oil anytime soon. All the plastics we use are made using oil. We use plastic for fucking everything.
That's us.
I guess the point is, it's just like, why, if you don't, if it ain't broke, why, if they don't have to fix all this infrastructure for this new enterprise, why would they? That's going to cost them a bunch of money at the bottom of. They're already selling you all your power. All your
Listen, regardless, you're getting your way because they're building a shitload of these things for AI. So, problem solved.
of the nuclear.
Yeah, they're building nuclear plants for all the AI.
So
Well, they
to,
might not have to. DeepSeek.
so it seems to me,
You know the DeepSeek used 7,000 NVIDIA servers to do that.
Yeah. Is that interesting?
like
It's not
shouldn't
interesting. They use their competitor.
It's just
to,
a parasite. It's not really like this individual.
No.
Man, I'm way ahead of you.
shouldn't we see
wouldn't go that far.
like
No, I wouldn't go that far
ExxonMobil and this whole group of like oil people trying to put a stop to AI, because these should be warring factions. Because if AI gets through, like you're saying, nuclear is going to come with it by the coattails, and that's going to fucking fuck their whole game up.
Actually, that's where I
I
forgot
don't think it will.
all about this during the Brett Weinstein. Is I think as my attitude, whether you want to not accept the climate is what it is. Let's not think it's so bad and just work towards mitigation. AI and the races. There's no way to speak out and stop this thing and be the person on the hill that.
No, we'll scream it from the rooftops again. Yes,
hope you
you
don't.
could.
I hope you
Just
don't.
don't throw your.
I hope you stop.
Don't throw your garbage on the ground.
I don't.
And don't support companies that dump their garbage in the ocean. Those are things you can do.
That's what I do, though, Simon.
Okay.
That's what I
so
do.
good. I'm happy for you.
But
You're part of the solution.
40
and
years
not
ago,
the problem.
we just threw shit out.
Yeah, I know, but we know better now.
Do we?
We should.
I feel like we're
It's people like you who are blanket statementing this whole global warming thing into pollution, and they're not the same thing.
what's the fear mongering about it? And the it's a goalless endeavor. Do you understand what I mean? It's something they say we've got to do this to something we can never accomplish.
I agree. And that's why we need to, as a populace, separate global warming from pollution. These are two separate things.
Simon, I couldn't agree with you more. I'd love to break bread with you sometime.
But I believe that people like you are also doing a disservice to it because you're so, well, global warming is a hoax. So pollution is a hoax too. No.
You're doing that.
No,
I've never
I-
said that. I always want to protect the oceans.
First of all, if global warming is real, it can't be a hoax, right? Like if it's a natural occurrence, it can't be a hoax.
No, it's
What
betrayal.
they're trying to sell it, the way they're
How it's
selling
framed.
it, this
Sure, you can say
idea
that.
of, and it's crazy how they also push this through, and then there's profit for them to be made on the back end. Like,
But I'd say this.
No, but wait.
There'd be some plant somewhere making billions of dollars off of solar by now, or this wind farm that they're just bragging about all the time, but they don't have these success stories 20 years in.
Hold on. You also do this weird thing where we're the only place on Earth.
No, I'm
Wind
talking about around the world. If some place is really successful,
Costa
you can talk
Rica.
about it every day.
Costa Rica, 90% of their energy is wind. Now, the problem is most, go ahead, pull it up. Please do. The problem is most countries aren't Costa Rica. Like Costa Rica is an island country where they can just plant wind farms all over the place. The Netherlands also makes a lot of their energy off wind
And garbage.
yeah. And I believe hydroelectric dams potentially. But are you pulling it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing it?
Well, I'll tell you something that we said they had a
But it's like, you know how they used to take all the like old tires and instead of putting them in these dumps where they would catch on fire forever and ever, they would like turn them into roadways and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, whatever happened to that shit? Here, they're just like, yeah, no, that costs too much money. So that would
You hit
take
it.
away
You
from our
nailed it.
bottom
Yeah.
line. And we're not going to do that. We're going to pass a piece of legislation that says we don't have
we
to.
can burn the
And we're going to
tires.
stick
Yeah.
them in a fucking, for a perpetual fire in honor of our, fallen tires.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Costa Rica?
I hear I have 17% as of 2018. Maybe that's gone up. But
Well, it can't be 100%.
I said 90.
I said 90.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up because this guy's probably
Perfect. Fact check the fact
Where
check.
did he go? He went to Truth Social to get that information.
He went to
for sure.
globalwarmingisn'treal.com.
No, but
Costa Rica's fake.
in that vein, they just canceled a tidal project that cost like $6 million. Small money to most people.
Tidal, like TIDAL?
Like a big sort of thing in the water that as the water moves, it creates electricity because they were worried about whales. There was no evidence that it was affecting whales, but they just snafu'd it.
I mean, in all fairness, we've killed almost all of the whales, so there's so few left to impact at this point. Why wouldn't we
There
just
should be a
blast them
undeniable
with-
success story of renewable energy, which we don't have because all of them are tied to fossil fuels.
It says here, renewable energy in Costa Rica supplied about 98.1% of the electrical energy output for the entire nation.
Perfect.
So where did you get your information, Kamar?
That's now. This is 2018.
You think in 6 years they've changed it 90%?
So it says here, Simon, Costa Rica receives about 65% of its energy from hydroelectric dams alone due to extreme amount of rainfall in multiple rivers. So again, most countries can't do that because of climate and where it is. And I get that. But he's like, my point is just that because we don't do it successfully, he's saying it isn't done anywhere successfully. And my point is, like you're saying, they recycle successfully in other places. They have an infrastructure set up where they do it properly, and then because we do it here wrong, we're like it can't be done.
It literally is just a money issue. It's like because these companies are tied to the stock market and every year they have to produce this profit, shit has to get cut somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, hold on.
Hit your bottom line, that shit doesn't happen miraculously.
Okay, but Simon, if we take the Netherlands for example. Let's say you're using their recycling program as like the one that we should do. There's a good chance that in that whole country they have just the 2 recycling plants and that all of their shit gets sent there. Our country is so big that you basically need one in every province, and even then, it still becomes a tough. It's still quite an issue to get the stuff to that. Like, let's say ours is in Thunder Bay. You then have to ship all the recycling from the entire province to Thunder Bay, which becomes, I'm just saying that.
I guess I'm talking more about like the United States, where instead of, you would just take 1/18 of your, way more than that, your military budget, put that towards your recycling program, and you would really nip this shit in the bud. Do you know what I mean?
And listen, I've heard Joe say this a bunch since like Trump.
You feel me?
Since Trump came on, I've heard Joe say this a bunch. The idea that like wind farms are ugly. Who the fuck cares? We put them in the middle of nowhere.
Or I think they're quite pretty.
Great. And Kamar thinks they're pretty, but like that's a weird, like to be like that solar farm out there in the middle of nowhere, it's pretty ugly. Like who gives, dude?
Well,
if it's powering, if it's
compared to the forest, yes, but if it was just going to end up being fucking condos, what's the difference?
no, but I don't think they're usually chopping down forests. They're usually taking a big open span of land, and, like a desert, for example.
Yeah, well,
like
I see them, along the highway.
It's definitely criticism we can live
farmland.
with, but they only last for 20 years. It's just a disaster. I hope this guy fixes LA. I hope he exposes everything, but I think LA is just a seedy city. The one thing he said that it does have for it is the massive amount of wealth in California. The whole thing is like the fourth.
it's the fifth
biggest-
largest economy in the world.
Thanks, Matt. And I mean, you can imagine how much money is in San Francisco alone, plus Hollywood, plus whatever else.
Did you
there is
love
there.
California? Have you been there, Kamar?
I haven't, but I would love to say I love it.
You've
Yeah.
been there
Yeah.
and you loved it. It was like amazing. You fucking couldn't get
Keep in
enough.
mind, I've been once. To say I couldn't get enough would mean I go back
I
yearly.
mean, you were cruising in like helicopters and shit. Were you like
was in-
landing
that
on
was in Vegas.
landing
That's
on
Vegas.
rooftops and stuff?
Vegas dipshit.
Well, I mean, what's a little chopper ride from Vegas to Cali?
I assume thousands
To
of
Los
thousands
Angeles.
of dollars.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you?
No, Simon. What's funny is the richest guy in the fucking room here. This fucking Jew is like, oh, helicopter. You could take one too. You just won't get in one, asshole.
You're so delusional.
Am I? David's T. Le Chateau money?
Not my money.
Whoa.
Whoa. I'm just saying.
You're holding out on us?
I've never been in a helicopter.
I have.
You don't like flying.
I've been in a helicopter.
Have you?
Yeah.
An army helicopter?
More than once. No. Why an army helicopter?
More than one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been in a
you were
helicopter
at
more than
fucking
once.
military school. I thought maybe you had gotten on a helicopter.
I've lived many lives, Simon.
Simon, you don't fly.
Yeah.
I heard this really interesting guy say that I don't know. Have you ever seen his videos? He's like a teacher from like 20 years ago giving a lecture to his class, and he's just like dropping all these truth bombs.
No.
And he's talking about like heaven and hell. And he's like, there is no heaven and hell. When you die, you are judged by whoever the higher power is. And you're judged on the times where you didn't show love. And
Okay.
for those times, if you have enough of them, I guess, you have to go back and do it again. So during those times, you can show more love.
That's what I've said all along. So you got a long way to go.
Well,
because you don't show
that
enough
is
love.
a lot. You know what, Kamar? I talk a big game
Yes.
in here, but in real life,
I believe that. I believe that.
I show nothing but love.
I believe that, Simon. I'm just not
He
around
did.
you in real
He
life.
did bring me a cake last night.
and ate it.
Well, nobody else was gonna.
Okay, weird.
And then I took it
Happy
home.
belated birthday, man.
So how about that?
Yeah. Mary was like, "Where's the cake?" I was like, "He took it home." She's like,
Piece
"What?"
of shit.
Did Mary want the cake? I'm gonna
No,
ask
I
Mary
did
if she'll-
say
because
to
I will bring the
Simon.
cake back.
I said to Mary, I was
Here.
like, I told him to take it home. I said neither of us would eat
Here's
it.
a half-eaten cake that's left the residence and come back.
Who's ever heard of
I just took it for a walk to see the world before you end its life.
Who's ever heard of a person who doesn't like cake? I was watching this interview with Larry David and Conan saying, you know, you're a lot like you are on that show. That is you, because I've hung out with you and Larry David says, well, I'm going to take that as a compliment because I love that guy.
Me. I love me. I love me. Yeah, I get it.
Larry David's a funny guy.
Great sense of humor. Caruso's a sleazy guy, but whatever. I give this a 1.
Yeah, we didn't need this. I give it a 1.5 because I'm trying to be generous.
It really makes me question what we're doing sometimes.
Well, Joe's just trying to meet his quota.
His quota of Republicans.
Political era.
Keep in mind too, like, you know, we used to complain, oh, Tom Papa again talking about bread. Those have just dried up. Like the comedians
I love that.
the comedians that used to be regular mainstays on the show are gone.
You know where it's
Well,
gone too
really-
far? If Pierre Polyev gets on this.
Oh, he'll be on next week.
I
100%.
really believe that Joe and Tom Papa had a falling out
100%.
because it was like this and now it's like
No, I
this.
think Joe is just too right for Tom.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
I don't think it's a falling out. It's I don't want to be associated.
Well, that sounds like a falling out to me when you don't want to be associated with somebody.
I would agree. I would agree with Simon.
If you're on his show like twice a year at least.
You used to literally break bread.
Literally break bread.
Literally, you showed up with bread and you
And
broke
now there ain't no bread.
it. No, zero
The
bread.
bread is gone.
Yeah.
The bread has risen and has risen without Joe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I just got an email from Sophia. Says I might have got a job at Costco. I just got to send my. I quit.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back.
And we're back. Thank you so much to
BetterHelp. It's always BetterHelp. If it's anyone. If it's even anyone. Come on, name and a number, please.
Oh, you're looking very Mahomes-like over there.
2267 Dan Richards.
Am I wrong? Like if he had a football helmet, it would be one of those special ones.
He does kind of look like, yeah, look at him. He does look that's what he was going for, wasn't it?
Pull off the fucking sweatshirt, sweater vest and show us. Yeah.
It's the Super Bowl, man. I bring it every year. You know that. You know how I do, guys.
You know how to do, guys.
What's Mahomes' first name?
Patrick.
Patrick. A real Patrick over here.
Okay, come on, name and a number. Nope.
2267 Dan Richards. Simon, the floor is yours.
Dan Richards.
Piss stink.
What did you call him?
Piss stink.
What'd you call him?
Piss stink.
No.
Yeah.
You called him
yeah.
a dedunker?
Oh, yeah, no, piss stink, though, is my nickname for him.
Why piss stink?
Kamar?
Dan Richards is an independent researcher whose YouTube channel, Dedunking the Past, examines lost civilizations and alternative history.
No, why is his nickname piss stink?
Because he's greasy looking. He looks like a relic.
Precisely why.
I didn't see him.
I mean, I can't hate on the plaid. The beard's a bit long. The hair's unkept.
This is two guys in a row now who you've had a problem with their appearance.
No, this is the same
I'm
guy.
superficial.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I get it. I got to show you this guy.
The
Son.
fellow who met
week-
the alien also looked unkept.
Yeah. I think it's unkempt, right? Am I wrong? Is it unkempt? Oh, that is not how I pictured Dan Richards.
And now you see a piss jug.
Exactly. Dude, that's exactly it.
Oh, now if that's not the fucking pot calling the kettle black, I've never heard it.
Oh, piss jug. That's
Yeah,
right.
old
Oh, I
piss
can't believe you
jug
brought
over
that
there.
up. Yeah. Old PJ, piss jug.
Really brought that back into the lexicon.
I'm using
Kamar's
all my-
like, I can't
all-
believe I fucking did that.
I'm using all the tools.
They
in the
had forgot
toolbox.
all about piss jug.
I had forgotten about
I
piss
had
jug.
forgotten too.
All the tools in the toolbox.
Is that still going on?
Go clutch your pearls.
He yada yada that.
Yeah. It's still going on.
Yada yada yada.
Art-
It's still going on.
We've evolved. We've evolved. Ark of the Covenant. Simon, floor is yours.
The floor is
Well, there
mine.
should be. There has to be someone who can get close enough with a Geiger counter or whatever. I mean, that's.
Well, I'm not even sure whatever they have right now is even what they had back then. You know what I mean?
Okay, how about this? The whole synopsis of this guy is the legend, the history, the story, and the evidence.
Well, when you listen to the stories, what they have written down in like the fucking scripture about the rabbis,
Yeah.
the guys who are in charge of keeping safe, air quotes, the Ark of the Covenant, they all wore like these special suits. And only one guy could go in and do it. He was like a very special man. And it was probably because these people were getting real sick, you know?
But that may have faded over time.
Why? There could just be like a uranium
The
deposit there or something.
potency of, well, that's what I'm saying, that the Ark of the Covenant may just be like a nuclear whatever.
Yeah, but then how did someone at some point misconstrue it as like the Fountain of Youth? Isn't that the car? Isn't that the Ark of the Covenant?
No.
Oh.
No,
Never
but
mind.
Found
that's
in
in
the
the
Youth or
Indiana
something.
Jones trilogy. Indiana Jones trilogy.
Jonas.
That's what at the end is the
Is that what that's called? The Ark of the Covenant?
no, the Ark of the Covenant is the first one. That's
Yeah.
the chalice.
the Holy Grail is
Holy
what
Grail.
you're
the whole-
thinking.
yeah.
of.
That's yeah. That is what I'm thinking.
And
of.
then in the middle, they lose religion and they just go after the Hindu stones, which just
Kalima.
your favorite. We've gone over this before.
The crystal skull, is that what you're talking about?
No, the
that's
second one.
afterwards.
The Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom is like, doesn't pertain to the Indiana Jones storyline. It's like a
Correct.
standalone.
That's what I just said. Yeah. I concur, Doctor.
Yeah, you agreed with Patrick Mahomes without knowing it.
If though it is there, like it comes back to this right to covet, a discovery, a technology, an ancient civilization. Like this is what we know. We're not going to touch it anymore. And
Maybe they were doing
we have these ropes over here, and you can look from there, and that's it.
the safety of the people. Like for the Ark of the Covenant, we are like, oh, well, they were keeping this power. Maybe they were doing it because people were literally getting sick when they got too close to this thing.
Yes, but I mean, I'm talking broader with a broader brush here about stuff like Gobekli Tepe or
This guy stinks. This
Atlantis
guy
or
stinks.
whatever you want to choose. Well, that's not even in the conversation.
Well, Atlantis.
Well, okay, but for our purposes, we have the pyramids. The experts have decided and have a story for that, which is under dispute.
Yeah,
Gobekli Tepe
you got
is a
it.
site under dispute, and I thought you could offer something.
Well, it's being
Machu
held.
Picchu, maybe.
It's being held up by the World Economic Forum, which is interesting.
Okay, we didn't think we'd go there.
No, but that's the reason why they are the ones who own it now, who said we don't want to do anything for 50 years.
But does it feel like there's a gap where preservation wasn't a cool thing? So we have these historic sites. I don't know about the one in Turkey, Gobekli Tepe, but for sure the pyramids were looted. Like the first people found them weren't like, let's respect this. It was just take stuff.
Even going back like 100 years, Kamar, or 200 years, whatever it was, when like the first Brits went over to Egypt to start excavating, they were like cowboys. They were just going in with fucking dynamite there, but shit was getting done. We were finding tombs. We were finding,
but also in that process, then stuff is getting lost
and broken.
And at some point, we went, whoa.
But in order to fucking make a really good omelet,
Well, no,
crack a few
like,
eggs.
I want them
Thank
to.
you, man.
I want them to cut apart one of the other pyramids or something. Like, let's go hog wild in here.
well, I mean, that's one thing. They could be finding out some shit with doing the least evasive stuff possible, like to find out what's in that thing underneath the paw, the empty chamber. They can like drill up through the ceiling with a tiny little hole, put one of those fucking cameras they use to shove down your throat, and
I suppose
bing
the
bang
medium,
boom.
The medium of the stone is hard to work with. But
No, it's not.
have you seen no? But for
Did you say the medium of the stone? What are you gonna call this guy?
He
on
meant the
anything here?
consistency of the stone. I know what he was getting at.
Yeah, NPR Kamar.
have you seen the guys who take a bunch of little spikes and split huge stones?
I have seen those guys.
Because that helps me a lot when you talk about these cuts and stuff.
Dude, they cut it relatively straight. The cuts on the stones that you see are 100% straight.
So they say, until I see it with my own eyes.
You know what, to me, like the pyramids are insane. You know what I mean? Obviously, they were cutting perfect stones every time. It's amazing. What really fucks me up is the like Machu Picchu, Cusco stones, where they're gigantic, bigger than the pyramid stones, and they're all like jigsawed together perfectly. Like that is so fucking hard.
But it almost shouldn't be a nationality's domain. If it were.
Well, what do you mean?
Like
the derailer.
Egypt's in charge of the pyramids, Chile's in charge of Machu Picchu, but these are
No,
It's Peru.
not Chile.
Peru's in charge of Machu Picchu, Mexico's in charge of
Chichen Itza.
Ayakazia.
You got it.
But these,
Teotihuacan,
but these are actually
maybe.
global landmarks.
Yeah, but you like
No, but they're
I mean,
part
all of them
the
are
place they're from.
all of them are tourist places. There are
But we know the Catholic Church is hiding something in the Vatican, or we don't know that.
That's
So you
different. They
should be
brought
able to
that
just
there.
storm the Vatican? Is that your contention?
all of them.
all of them.
Well, I don't want it destroyed.
So people should be able to just come
just said-
here and
hold
look
on,
through
wait,
the
wait, wait.
Parliament buildings.
2 minutes ago, you said we should cut one of the pyramids in
Well,
half.
yeah, massively excavated on a huge scale, but preserved.
Done properly, but a lot of money poured
imagine,
into it.
Imagine what you could do if you started slicing up those stones and people had actual, you know how they do marble and stuff. They make these slabs.
So you want to sell off the pyramid stones for people to have marble in their house?
It will be pyramid stone, but yeah, maybe not if it
You'd
has.
buy a piece of the pyramid. 100% you
All
would.
your answers are these like you want to make Gaza into fucking Las Vegas.
He's American.
You want to split the pyramid aggressively down the middle so you can slice it up to sell to people for their kitchens.
Maybe not aggressively, but more so than has been done up to my life.
I am not for that at all. Just cutting up the pyramid for no good reason.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Moving on.
Is there a right for each nation to covet these sites and control and say,
Yes.
Maybe there should be like a world law that says if you have one of these sites, you have a duty to the rest of us that you do.
and you can get money
excavate
from the
and-
world site?
Yes, exactly. There would be a pot they could grab from.
because
You mean like a UNESCO World Heritage Site? Something
Yeah,
like that?
something like
that
that.
does already exist?
that already exists.
That
okay.
doesn't do a good job, obviously.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Places like Göbekli Tepe, like Kamar so eloquently put it, are being waylaid by rich organizations that, for some reason, don't want us to find out about our past.
I'm split on the Boneyard guy.
How so?
Like whether his grudge is holding us back from he doesn't want to share his bones because of
And that's why he wasn't on. He wasn't actually sick, like Joe
Past
said. He
grievances.
was,
But how you can't blame him for that. If the archaeological community doesn't want to look at what he's offering, then what do you want him to do?
well, I think he has to be really careful because he's found human bones up there or something to that effect. So he can't have
graveyard,
them. He can't have them come. Well, no, any sort of like, even if he found Australopithecus, that would fuck his whole thing up because then we get really touchy about like this could have been us at some point. So if he found a Neanderthal, that would be reason for the government to be able to come in and say, we're taking your shit.
so that's why he may be.
I think that's
apprehensive.
why he's not going to be on Joe Rogan again. I think he gave away too much information last time and people came a knocking because he kept saying, do you remember when he was on and he kept like hinting to Joe that he had found a person, but wouldn't say it because for those exact reasons.
But he's still being greedy, right?
By not.
Could he lop off half of what he has and I don't even know.
But what do you want it for? So it can go into a museum or so you can chop it up and sell it to people for their fucking coffee tables?
that.
I have written here Boneyard and I just wanted us to expand on it.
No, but I'm
3
I'm
minutes, which we
I'm
did,
asking
so-
you what do you want him to do with those bones? To give it to the government so they can
Sure.
study them?
Yeah. Is it holding us back? Is there answers there? I don't know. We don't know. It just seems like that it's a thing and it's just bones. Like if it's him losing money, I get that.
You know, it'd
I
be so
guess.
interesting if he found like giant bones. That would be fucking cool.
I mean, it
Or-
makes me, you know what it does make me feel like? It makes me feel like everything in museums is kind of bullshit. Not everything, sorry, but like,
the politics.
well, no, like, if they have this, if he's got this huge deposit of like ancient fucking fossils and all this shit, you would think that immediately, like you guys are saying, not a government agency, but some sort of, I don't know, some sort of museum or whatever would be up there.
The
like,
Department of Indiana Jones.
I don't know, like someone. No, I just like, no, you'd think like, I don't know, any,
I think like you
like
think.
Harvard University would be like, we want to come up there and do a deep dig.
Indiana Jones, everyone stop moving. Put that
Well,
book down.
isn't it interesting, Matt, that another thing, like I went to the Museum of Nature as a kid, the Museum of Man, they used to call it
Yeah.
back before they went woke.
Yeah.
They had like a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton or whatever. And you're just like, yeah, that's what that looked like. That's just what some guy thought it looked like. Nobody fucking saw dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They never
mean-
found a complete body of a fucking. They pieced this shit together. Like,
You don't think they ever found a complete one?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, so you're just making shit
No,
up.
I'm just saying we take a lot for granted, including what dinosaurs may or may not have looked like.
And whether or not they had subways or not.
Well, that's a whole other story.
No, but
we
he's
know
listening.
there are ancient tunnels.
Do you think there was a dinosaur Jared who was also touching young dinosaurs?
I mean, I don't know how it would have been hard for him to touch because, the
Such short
Tyrannosaurus
arms.
with their tiny little arms. But
Do you think you can blow
rubbing against, maybe.
Do you think you can blow someone's mind from telling them that pyramids of Cleopatra to iPhone is a lot bigger period?
I mean, it's a pretty crazy fact because most people don't think about the eras, the Mesozoic, the Cenozoic, of being 150 million years in time each,
Most people
if
don't
not
think
more.
of even Cleopatra for that matter.
Well, Cleopatra is, they say, what, like 3,500 years ago?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Too
something,
stupid.
something like that.
Sounds about right.
None of which we can believe.
Why? We just said we believe
Well,
it.
we just, like the Tyrannosaurus and the Stegosaurus are further in time apart than the Tyrannosaurus and Cleopatra.
How about this?
That's fucked up to think about, that these dinosaurs, like they ruled the earth. Dinosaurs, that time was so much longer than our insignificant little 5,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, whatever the fuck it is so little compared to the amount of time that these guys may have been building subways for.
Allegedly.
Just as certain as anything else, my friend.
Yeah. So I asked you, would you blow someone's mind? You're like, yeah, but we all will know.
Well,
no,
I'm blowing your mind right now, and you've heard this a million times.
No one cares.
Yes, I think you would blow somebody's mind if they were open-minded. But
How many dinner parties have you blown someone's mind?
Not very many. Like I said before, though, most people, like you could say, look, I'm going to show you the proof that the CIA killed an active president. And they would be like, next.
No, I think they'd just be annoyed that you were
Next.
there. It's
Yeah, well, no, but I'm just saying, like, people don't care.
Yes,
They have
No,
a
that's- no,
narrative
no.
that they're living with, and that's what they're living with. You
Simon,
know?
that's what I'm saying. People don't care. Next. Really, if AI does figure out hieroglyphs, ancient languages, that must be disclosed, right? You would hope. It wouldn't be if they found something. You're nodding my head.
No, I
I'm
think
blowing your
I would
mind,
think it would
yes.
be cool. No, I was thinking about the Rosetta Stone and how amazing that must have been for them when they first found that fucking key, to be able to decipher the hieroglyphics we have now. Because before that, it was like absolute guesswork. And then in one foul swoop, you find.
It's fell.
And now I'm wondering, one
fell.
fell swoop. And now I'm wondering, maybe the Rosetta Stone was a fucking hoax.
Of course.
And they have no idea what the hieroglyphics say, and they just want you to think that
Its
they know what the
existence, or they just
hieroglyphics
said
say.
this is what we used.
And then you look at and this is interesting. So you look at like one of those hieroglyphs from like ancient Sumer or whatever is an owl.
Yeah.
And the top of the owl looks like this. Like this, with its two little horns, okay? And then that becomes this
Over time.
in our language, the letter M. Like it all comes from each other. And we're all just living this massive fucking, who knows? We thought it was the real thing, but who even knows? Your whole language, every letter you know could be wrong. Or could have been something else. Could be an owl.
So that would be a positive output from AI.
Here's my problem with AI, okay, Kumar?
Please.
Is that we think of it as this unbiased thing. But unfortunately, it
No,
is
you do.
being built by people who have biases. And we don't find that out
I
until
think you have to stop saying
way after the
I think
fact.
you have to stop saying we. I think you're really on an island with your takes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. What was my take? Because I
You're saying
forgot.
we think AI doesn't have a bias.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We assume that everything
don't-
AI
we
is going to
don't.
tell us is going to be the truth.
Can you agree that you gotta stop saying we?
It's this flawless AI is so smart, it's gathering the right information from everywhere. We assume that it is going to be without
You should say I.
side.
These are I statements.
And I think that we fail to realize that there is a creator to AI. It's not an omnipotent being.
Well,
and that
hold on, but you're kind of
creator
wrong. You're kind of wrong.
has
Wait, you're kind of wrong.
biases.
But you're kind of wrong.
Go on.
Well, just the people that created this AI have said that they don't know how it works. So isn't that somewhat?
Who created what AI and they don't know how it works?
You know what I'm talking about, right? Come on, I'll pull up the video for you. One of the main creators of AI was asked. He was like, "How does it work?" And he was like, "To be honest, we don't really know."
Well, that's insane. Well, you're talking about like ChatGPT AI, or what are you talking about?
Yeah,
They don't know how it works.
Correct.
It's gathering information from different dimensions.
It could be a Google system. It doesn't matter. What he's saying is true. And you've known that. We've discussed this on the podcast. And it's more concerned to me that you're finding about this for the fourth time and sort of be taken back.
You're a fucking moron. There's something wrong with you.
Isn't it we? Image on Mars, the Mars Square. You know my take on space.
it's not real.
Well, no, it's still the transmission of the medium to the Earth.
Stop saying medium.
Space. I can't talk about the space with space, but
It really feels though like with that square, and you look at it and it's like a perfect square, perfect fucking symmetry.
there are no straight lines in nature.
And then you look at something like, that Texas wall.
Yeah.
It's like way underground. It's literally pieced together like a brick wall, and they tell you that it's a natural thing. And you're just like, guys, come on at this point.
So I haven't seen this thing on Mars. How close up is it?
How close up is it?
Well, what I'm saying is
Kilometers. Kilometers.
No, like how
away.
good is the picture, you mean?
No. What I'm saying is,
Well, the guy was on a balloon.
like Simon, my point is, God, that's infuriating. My point is, if you're in a helicopter, if you're in a plane, and you look at a street that we've built
Yeah.
from the plane, it might look dead straight,
Okay.
but you might get closer to it and realize, it deviates a little bit here and there.
I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying? So where he's like, there are no straight lines in nature. I guess my question is, and again, I haven't seen it, so I'm not trying to debunk something I haven't seen.
I mean, they have a rover on Mars. I don't know if it was allegedly they have a rover on Mars. I don't know if they were doing that measurement from their rover. I think it's from a picture.
That's my question. It's like a satellite photo.
It's a
'cause-
satellite that's
Yeah.
in Mars orbit, allegedly.
That's weird too, isn't it?
Isn't that so weird to think about that there is this remote thing doing business in a place that we've never put boots on?
I mean, yes and no.
No, it's bonkers, dude.
No, slow
It's-
down.
It's one thing to send that thing to fucking Greenland. It's a whole other thing to send it into outer
No,
space.
once you sent man there with trucks that they drove around,
They have never been to Mars and they have never driven trucks around.
no, on the moon.
Well, the moon is a different story.
But since they've done that,
Okay.
the unmanned thing is not as far fetched.
Dude, the last season
Unmanned thing.
I finished watching For All Mankind.
Yeah.
The last season is terrible. I suggest nobody watch it. But
Sounds about
this
right.
idea of like how they normalized, space travel and getting to it's very interesting. Very interesting. We were probably
Yeah.
just when Joe talked about like Elon buying Twitter and that was one of these whys.
Yeah.
Them deciding to scrap the space missions if they truly did get to the moon.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they did that first time for sure, but if they have subsequently gotten to the moon, that's insane. Like what a crazy accomplishment. And then nothing happens from there. If they decide to put all the military money into space travel or half of it, like who knows? They would have colonized the moon a long time ago. They would have had to,
If
according
there's
to
money
logic.
there, logically, yeah.
Well, it's funny too, the argument when you hear people like, well, they stopped sending people because it was too dangerous. It's like, when have we ever done that?
I never heard that.
Oh, I've heard people
No,
say
it was
that.
too much for too little, I believe.
Well, I've heard a lot. I've
There
heard
was
a
no
lot.
public sentiment. That was the main one, right?
Excitement,
Either way, all of it.
Huh?
enthusiasm. There you did it.
Enthusiasm.
Fucking did it.
Enthusiasm. Hey, Simon, you don't have enough enthusiasm.
But yes, you're right. There was the Challenger disaster. But so in this one, they have something similar to that. And what it does is it forces them to become better. They start making safer spacecrafts and not scrap the whole thing completely, is my point.
So you're saying that they should have kept going because they could have made it safer?
No, I just think that if they really, this is another, like, they never got into space. Because if they had gotten into space, they never would have stopped. But the fact that they have this.
But you mean to the moon? Like, what does in space mean to you?
Well, fucking the moon is space.
No, I get it, but like, has Richard Branson been to
no,
space?
past the Van Allen belt.
Okay, that's my question. Let's
Yeah,
keep going.
past the Van Allen belt. What those guys are doing is just flying really high.
Fair enough. That's why I asked.
They're not building spaceships. They're building
High flying planes.
the highest flying planes we've ever seen. That man has ever known. But not spaceships.
Definitely not spaceships.
Romulus is better.
Whether Elon is building spaceships is a whole different ball of wax, because he could also be building high flying planes and charging people money like he's building spaceships.
Dude, knowing
The
Elon,
government.
he's probably right now sitting in an office like, I really like just catching dicks. That was my favorite thing, and now I built the biggest dick, and I get to catch it. He's not going to fucking space. He's not sending shit to space.
I mean, according to Elon's track record,
Yeah.
this space thing is another scam of some sort. So
Well,
that would make sense that they can't get past the Van Allen.
I mean, let's give him credit. He does have a shitload of satellites in space. They do provide internet.
They fly very high, Matt, into the sky.
Okay,
They
fine.
are
not in
also
space.
not
Okay,
in
fine.
space.
My point is that is a product that he does offer, and it does deliver on what it is promised, correct?
Yeah, no, he is a master at building high flying things.
Fair enough.
And he'll destroy you at Miss Pac-Man.
I wonder if Elon was responsible for the New Jersey drones. Wouldn't that be interesting, eh?
The more people say it, the more I'm like, just make that a team name.
The Elons?
No, the New Jersey Drones.
Oh, that's great.
right.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's a new hockey team coming, Utah, I believe.
That's already exists.
They're leading Washington right now in like the third.
The Utah Hockey Club.
Well, they were going to name it. They haven't started playing yet.
Yes, they have.
They're playing
They're,
as
they're
we
in this
speak.
season.
They're
They're
playing
playing
right
right now.
now.
They're playing this second.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Simon, I'll bet you any amount of money. I'll bet you any amount of money.
The game might be over.
I'll bet you any amount of money
They
you
scored
want.
2 goals in 3 minutes.
That this
the first
season-
period. Because I was watching John Carlson scored his 700th point.
Against the Utah Hockey Club.
No, against some other team, but he was tonight playing Utah before the game.
Utah Hockey Club. They are currently playing this season in the NHL.
I think he's got to be sanctioned.
Well, they were going to call themselves, I think, maybe I'm thinking of a new team coming in, the Utah Yetis.
no,
Does
they
that
still
sound right?
might call themselves
No,
that.
they can't, because they're in a
debate with
dispute
Yeti.
with Yeti.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to
Because
lose
Yeti's
that
not a
too.
real thing either. It's a cooler. No.
It's a cooler.
Okay, moving
apparently.
on. So this guy, as well as a debunker, is an electrician.
Oh my god, we're still talking about piss jug.
And he was mentioning...
He's the only one left, man.
Yeah, I
He was
know.
mentioning maybe we do not know everything about electricity.
Well, I've mentioned that many a times.
Which then starts to get your mind to turn and fire. And I think Weinstein brought it up as well. You know what I mean? Theories in biology or evolution are stuck here. A guy says this, and as this guy says, science grows by funerals. Because once the top dog in a field passes on, then his work can be questioned or whatnot. And just if they could do more with electricity.
Well, if electricity really is the end all be all, like if it really does replace gravity, like I was talking about last week,
Mm-hmm.
it's the most important thing on Earth.
We can't do much without it. You're right.
I mean, I think I would argue carbon might be the most important thing.
Dildo doesn't run on carbon there.
It does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I think carbon might have something to do with electricity.
How do you think
too,
the
because
dildo doesn't run on carbon? What makes the dildo?
Electricity.
what holds together the bonds, the cells that make up everything, the atoms and the
Not electricity.
yes, electricity. It creates those
You
bonds.
mean energy?
I mean, same thing.
No, not the same thing. Completely different things.
I think it's electricity.
It is not electricity.
Could it be?
It could be, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Patrick Mahomes over here.
So
I wonder what the hell he was thinking about.
what can
when we were talking.
What can we find to prove a civilization existed? I wanted to push back against Joe about wood, because I think there's wood at the bottom of the Ottawa River right now. And have you ever been underwater? There'll be logs.
Yeah, but it won't be there in 5,000 years. It's been there for
I just want to
hundreds
stop for a
of
second.
years.
Stop. He somewhere has a note that made him just now say to us, I want to push back on Joe about wood. And then his point was, there's wood at the bottom of the Ottawa River right now.
No, but
Go on.
I see what you're saying. Like,
minority.
Really?
Minority.
no. He's wrong.
Whoa.
But I see what he's saying. When what's his name was
Strays.
when what's his name was on to debate Graham. What's his name? Do you remember him? He was the son of the archaeologist.
Yeah, Flint Dibble.
Flint Dibble, thank you. He said that the underwater will preserve the shipwrecks, which I don't think is
I
entirely
don't remember that,
true.
but okay.
I feel it could be possible.
But what is your point? What were you trying to say? What is your
That
pushback?
wood
Shows
will
this-
survive
shows
forever
There's no
underwater.
evidence of wood underwater and cold under pressure.
Well, not from the
I
amount
feel
of
there
time we need it from.
Well, I don't know that.
No, I'm telling you.
How long do you think a piece of wood untreated lasts in the ocean?
The ocean different, yeah. Ocean different than fresh water.
No, but it may last hundreds of years.
That's not enough, though.
It's not enough. Matt.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying. We need it to last thousands
Yes,
of
that's
years.
my
if
point.
not-
Matt and Simon 1, Kamar 0. Then they had an interesting discussion, and Gad Sad talked about, Brett Weinstein talked about it, about you can learn so much about biology, biological science, and whatnot. And they were talking about an island where there's almost only lemurs
They take up all of the jobs.
and no woodpecker or whatever it is. And this idea, like, sometimes you don't have biological diversity. Like, some people might think you need everything in a place, but you don't necessarily need it.
Well,
I still
that-
thought it was weird to me, though. I was like, is the woodpecker a necessity to...
Yes, because it has to get the dead bugs out of trees for whatever reason, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And the lemur replaces that by not pecking, but probably has a very long tongue that
No,
gets
they
those bugs
showed it.
out.
It was a finger.
Oh, was
It was
it?
tapping.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well,
they
that's
showed
right.
it.
Yeah.
But maybe we should just control the whole planet
Well, we could, I
and
guess,
kill
with,
everything.
with
We're
technology.
supposed to. Like, it's an example of it happening.
This
Maybe
guy
we
wants
should just kill everything.
this guy wants to cut up every fucking ancient structure. He wants to kill every animal so that we can have fucking lemur pajamas.
T-bones.
No, he's worse than Dick Cheney. You know what I realized, though? I said this Wednesday to Costa. I was like, Kamar has become our Eric Cartman, where whatever like wild, outlandish, offensive thing he thinks ends up coming to fruition. Like this Gaza thing. When I heard Trump say it, I was like, I cannot
This is
believe.
crazy. Yeah.
I genuinely was like, this was the epitome. We haven't said it in forever.
Did you read that?
Baboon clock, racism, ship weeks.
Logs at the bottom of lakes may be
Meg beg to differ.
differ.
I wrote that 3 hours ago.
God, he's terrible.
He
at
was
notes.
right once, and now he's that guy who he's like a professor who thinks he knows everything about everything.
I forget who they were talking about, but Richards or Simmons or whatever the guy's name is like, I hate to say his name, but you gotta roll that shit back.
This guy wants to fuck Shane Gillis too, right?
Very, very.
Oh, he must have
His
dropped
giant
James
crush.
Gillis's
He-
name like 12
it was-
times.
Is this the
It was
chair where he
awkward as
sat?
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, at one point, he was like, Joe, I don't want to be weird or anything, but like, I've been alone in many bathrooms, and I actually think this particular thing was cooked up by cocaine. I was like, whoa, okay.
Are we supposed to believe that there was a time when they just fed a baboon water and use its P cycle as a way to keep time.
I did like the baboon piss clock.
Piss clock.
Yeah.
And so then just
That's a great band name too.
Great band name.
Baboon piss
whoever
clock.
tells you when time started, you can follow, is God.
Whoever tells you when time started.
It should be like
is
Saint
God.
Christopher to calendar on this day signified it. Do you know what I mean? As a
No,
Oppenheimer made the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
You know that.
I do.
And who told you that this shit started 2,025 years ago? And what day is it? I don't. Do you understand what
the
I'm saying?
Bible?
The Bible.
Yeah, the Bible. He's right.
So the Bible is God. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that tracks. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, not even one iota.
You have to take that someone says this is that time.
Come on, we've said this 100 times. It's not currently the year 2025.
Perfect.
Like that's a random number that we've chosen.
But whoever said that
Yeah.
is God.
No.
But it was just probably some fucking rich guy who was in power. It was the Rockefeller of that time that decided.
Yeah, the rich Jew of that time.
This
yeah.
is when we're.
Yeah. Right now, it's year zero.
You guys say Jew, but the problem is they were using Jew as their cover story. I think they're actually called Draconians, and it's the.
Oh, this is a good cover story. I like this.
It's the lizard race.
Yeah.
And that's
Of Jews.
Well, they knew that Jews had already been blamed for so much over time. They're like, that everybody will believe this for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking joking. This is a
No. I know you're not
Stop
joking. You're being
clutching your
dead
pearls.
serious.
This
that
is a
all the
fact.
bad Jews are lizards. I get it.
not
100%.
all the bad Jews. There are definitely bad Jews out there who are just bad Jews. But I'm saying like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, all these guys who infiltrated American culture and
Are
made it
lizard
what it
Jews,
is today.
Draconian lizard Jews.
And probably Netanyahu because he's tied in with all those
Another
fucking.
yeah. Another
Yada,
great
yada,
another
yada.
great band name, by the way. Draconian Lizard Jew.
Great. I like it.
Great. Great. What are you looking at?
You haven't done a movie game yet, eh?
What I often find myself at odds with
Is heartburn?
is Clovis first.
I'm willing to bet that you never think about Clovis first.
But in this instance, when he got brought up, attempts on his life were made by.
Talk at a normal level into the mic. Come on.
That's this. I'm talking how normally talk.
That's not how you know. Who, on this guy?
This guy's friend had his life threatened, maybe attempt on his life, in the Clovis first dispute.
Okay.
Yeah, but he did this weird thing where he literally quoted everything from the video he watched, where the guy, let me give you an example. It's like if you went on Simon's show and you were like, my friend Floyd, he got threatened. They threatened his life for doing this thing. And then you were like, pull up this video. And the video was a video of me being interviewed and then me saying, they're threatening my life. No proof, no.
Yes.
Except the video I made.
It's like, I know it's a rumor because I started
it. Yeah.
in Milwaukee.
I think this sort of starts a broader discussion.
Yeah, go
about
on.
What institution or where do they kill people to stop something from getting out? Do you feel like
Where do they kill people?
This guy is crazy.
you understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't. But I would like to.
I like that you think so.
I
Wait,
think I know where you're going.
you think there's like one room in each state that the CIA has where they're like,
no. What is the degree that someone is silenced for what they say? And unfortunately, I use Clovis first as this example. But the idea
you
that,
use Clovis first? What is happening right
the
now?
idea that someone is challenging the status quo of what happened and we have to kill you.
It's like JFK.
I
We
see what
can't
you're
just
saying.
call you
I see
racist.
what you're saying. Yeah.
So therefore, at what point you see the room where they did the moose landing, you have to be killed. Or I can't think of an example because, of course, it's a conspiracy
I
theory.
like that in his world they still have the set built. It's still set up like in a government
The
building
moon
somewhere.
landing?
Yeah. They haven't taken it down to hide it.
And when they said
like
they-
Kamar stumbles into it and they're like, oh, we gotta kill another
They
guy.
would have got away with it. I mean, just taking a stupid model down.
They used it to film that show I watched.
Yeah. For all mankind, yeah.
Just to give you an example, I have an example of something of like a narrative that we all believe that turns out not to be at all what we believe. Did anybody watch the documentary, the new one on Disney about the Stanford prison experiment?
No, but I've seen many.
Well, we all have seen many, Matt, where it was always about how these guys went in there, became the guards, and became these evil people. It turns out that the main bad guy, was told to like play a role. So he went in there playing the bad guy.
Yeah,
we know that.
It wasn't his base instinct to become this bad guy. It was, it's not at all what they sold us.
Not.
It's got to be fun being Simon, like learning something new for the fifth time and being and being blown away by it every time. That's got to be.
You're not listening to me.
Wait till you see the
You're
Avengers.
jumping ahead.
No, I heard you. Kamar just said we've already heard this.
Have you seen the new movie Forrest Gump?
Okay, you're an idiot.
It's amazing.
You're telling me you knew that already?
Yes, we learned that on this show. Now I know that when you're not talking, you're tuned out. I know that once you,
This is a new piece of information that just came out.
Can I say confidently? I think we're gaslighting you. Have you seen Forrest Gump?
Yes.
Have you seen Forrest Gump?
We have done Forrest Gump.
Sure, we've done every movie. You can't remember anything.
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. The Matt and Simon two racks that brings together the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year movie came out, how much it cost to make that movie, and how much it made at the box office. This year we're doing Forrest Gump for probably the third time, but Simon can't recall anything. And so this should be, and you shouldn't protest, you should just have it down. And that'd be a proof of retention.
I'm ready.
Directed by Zemeckis.
Zemeckis, yeah.
And I just watched something else he did that was really good. Oh, brain.
You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure this movie also won the Oscar for like best visual effects.
My muse eludes me.
Simon, do you have any? Do you have a year ready?
I'm
at
ready.
least?
Yep.
What year do you have?
I said 1998.
Way too late. 1994 is what I have.
I said 5. I was thinking 5.
1994. I like where this is going. It was Death Becomes Her.
With Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, and Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. What about it?
It was Robert Zemeckis. It's a good movie as well.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it's got a weird sci-fi.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of effects in that.
Simon, what's your guesses?
137
To make?
to make.
Okay.
676 gross.
We are so close on the gross. Like, listen to this. What did you say? 676?
Correct.
Okay, so I said it cost $35 million to make,
35.
and it made $680.
Not enough, Matt.
No, you're like Rain Man. Budget, $55 million.
Oh.
You said $124 million?
27.
$127 million?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Well, I thought it was made in 98.
No,
it
but-
makes a huge difference.
All will be forgotten when you hear this.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Box office, $678.2 million.
Wow.
It's crazy.
But I won.
4 times. Yeah, you remembered it.
That's
finally.
crazy.
It's amazing. The power of retention.
Sick.
Well, he's done it before.
Congratulations.
So have you.
He
So
knew
have
what
you.
year it came out because all sorts of crazy movies came out that year.
You're not good for the game. You should be graceful. And that's the
I'm
movie
not
game.
good for the game. I tell you guys this amazing piece of information. You act like you fucking know it to make me look bad, and then we don't even discuss it. It's what a pathetic show we run.
No, that is
Hold on.
that is the toast
Have
Joe.
an agreement.
That's a toast Joe. That's a complete toast Joe. You fucked everything up. There's a part of the Grand Canyon you can't go and see because there's an Egyptian temple in a cave. Simon, floor is yours.
Well, we've many times heard about them finding Egyptian hieroglyphics in the Grand Canyon. Matt, who's taken a helicopter,
Yeah, your helicopter
in there,
travels.
would
You've never seen this
probably
area?
know.
No, you can only you're not allowed in many spots in the Grand Canyon.
So you can confirm.
The only reason that this helicopter company can land there is because it's Native American land, and the natives lease them out this like 4-acre lot where they're just allowed to land the chopper, and you're like in the canyon. You have lunch.
I love how you do that, and this brings me back to whose right is it to covet what?
Don't do that.
First Nations do have riding like, oh no, it's First Nation sacred. I was discussing someone in a callous way the other day, but I was standing there, and across the street where there could be houses in the neighborhood, there's a big cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And this weird thing of us burying people, like it's sentimental, I get it, but it's sort of short-sighted.
You do bring up a funny point, though. It's like, this is protected native land.
Yeah.
The natives will do with it as they please.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are the natives doing? They're renting it out to a
Casinos.
helicopter company to fly tourists
Well,
in to have
that's
lunch.
their
I get
right.
it. I'm not, Simon, I'm not sitting here cacaing on
If
their
you
right
want
to
to
make
build
money.
casinos over your people, you can do that.
Is it possible that there's someone that could come behind them and say, actually, this is our land?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Simon.
The hieroglyphics, if we could get back to that,
Yeah.
we know that they did find them in Australia, which is very interesting. And that just shows you that the Egyptians were traveling long distances.
Seafaring people.
Because to get from Egypt to Australia, that's a big fucking voyage. And
Unless the original Egyptians were just here so long ago.
before
different
the-
ocean levels.
Well, it's interesting.
Pangea.
They think that the Egyptians thought that the Aboriginals of Australia were the very oldest people. Like they were the first. And that's why they allegedly made that trip, however they made it, be it land or sea, to go and learn from the Aboriginals, which is very interesting. And there was this one king who was doing this. He was like the guy who was obsessed with them. And apparently he got over there and then got stranded in Australia.
What I wanted to know, I was discussing with Simon about yesterday, is if they had ships and did have some sort of way to get around, how fast did they get those going? I mean, it had to be a combination of sailing, but if you had a boat that had 500 dudes on oars, whatever they actually were.
Well, it's funny you mention this because I was talking to a guy at the bar on Saturday. This guy I know, he's like big on sailing. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, my buddy's currently sailing from like Vancouver to LA to Hawaii to the Philippines
So
or whatever.
crazy.
That's what I said. And I asked him, I was like, you sail, is that not like a dream trip for you? And he was like, yeah. He's like, he invited me and I just can't go. The reason I bring it up is because I said to him, I was like, I have no problem with the Vancouver to LA leg, but I was like, I have a real problem with the LA to Hawaii leg. I was like, that's scary as fuck, like open ocean.
The whole thing is scary to me. I wouldn't want to
Because you
be
wouldn't
out
rather
there in the
crash.
ocean.
No, hear me out. Okay, I'm with you. It's all scary. I'm less scared when I'm like 30 miles off the coast.
If I can see the shore,
That's
I
my
feel
po-
better.
This is
Yeah.
my point. Once I get out into open Pacific
Yeah,
Ocean,
yeah,
but this is what's crazy. What he
that's
told
nuts.
me, he said what you don't realize is that in the summer, he was like, there's certain periods in the summer where like you just won't get. He's like, it's not very windy. He's like, so if you're sailing, you might have 3 straight days of no wind, and he's like, you're just sitting there
Stuck.
on glass ocean,
Dude.
And I was like, that is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
That's
no
what
fucking thanks. When you watch like those movies about people who get lost at sea,
I hate them.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
I mean, keep in mind, Simon, there's a part of me that's like the glass ocean. I prefer to the
A
alternative.
giant
which-
storm. I don't like any of it. And then Matt, that's like and then you start thinking about the vastness of what's underneath you. And like you're this speck on top, and what the fuck is going on down there? No thanks.
Can you jump out of a boat in the middle of a lake?
I could.
But that stresses you, even that stresses you.
Well, I don't
you'd rather swim off a dock than that.
I don't so much have a problem with lakes because I mean, unless they have like a Ogopogo type sea monster, the biggest fish is not going to attack you. No muskie is coming to get you, you know? That's just, we
you're
know,
right.
we
Yeah.
know this.
When's the last time you went to the ocean? A long time.
Oh, a long time ago. I was going to mention, I don't know why, but bear with me because I think it'll come back. Do you guys know the story of Grey Owl? Grey Owl was a Jew, I believe, who lived with the Indians, the native Canadians. And this one tribe started like incorporating Hebrew words into their, and then he dies, whatever. And years later, people meet these Indians and they have these words that are similar to Hebrew words.
Have you met my friend Great with Money?
And I'm not sure it was Grey Owl now that, I mean, he definitely was a guy who lived with Indians, but I think that might have even happened before that. Because anyways, that's just interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was going to mention that.
And that's the movie game.
We'll come back to us.
I think South Americans did not go north because of the cold. I'll push back against Joe.
South Americans are not going north because of the cold.
That's about,
They're not coming up here, you mean?
that's what I put out there. Yeah.
No, but that's weird because New York is full of South America.
And Mexicans go north.
Now.
What do you mean now?
Ancient civilization.
Oh, ancient. Gotcha.
But they did.
Who knows?
No,
Okay.
I think he's saying like why they didn't settle. They might have explored.
He mentioned for a second.
No, but plenty
that
did settle.
the
Like, look at
Mayans went everywhere.
Anyone in Canada.
The Mayans went everywhere.
Did
That's
did
not the
they?
front-
I don't know.
he suggests
Maybe.
that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Look, I'm with Kamar.
Back,
if your civilization started in Mexico,
you're staying there.
you might send explorers north. Some of them might settle here and there. I get it. But as far as like millions of people,
It's
of
ideal,
those
right?
jungle people settling up north, I just don't see it happening. Like you have to be a nomadic northern. You'd have to grow up in this garbage to be. I don't know.
We've talked about the Incan Highway before.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
It's in Peru, and it attaches all these like megalithic sites.
Okay.
It's this road that they built like through the mountains. Some of the craziest shit you've ever seen, and the roads are like put together with these crazy stones, and the whole thing is nuts. Like you look at something like that, and you're like, well, these people were building. This civilization was so much more advanced than we thought it was. This one that we know about, that we have proof of. Those people, I'm sure, were going all over the place, Kamar, to your point.
Well, we can't-
because they were able to. They were
We
incredible.
don't have the evidence. Is that what you're saying?
Well, maybe we do by, we find, like, the further you go up towards Mexico, you find more temples and stuff, you know what I mean? And then you keep going. They could have been building this ship all the way up to maybe where we're standing right now.
I mean, the problem with what you're saying though is like roads don't tend to erode that much.
Well, not when you build them out of stone.
No, I'm just saying in general, even if you just like, forget building a road. I'm not talking about a built road. I'm talking about like
It can be metaphorical.
if you trudge a path through a forest, you know what I mean? That's probably going to be visible for the foreseeable future, right?
Okay.
Like, well, my point is just like your thing of like they traveled everywhere and did all this stuff. Like, I just feel like there would be, like Kamar saying, a little more evidence of. Keep in mind what you're saying too is something you learned off a podcast that someone told you. And
No,
you
I've seen them.
seen what?
The roads.
What roads?
The Incan Highway.
Yeah, okay. You've seen them with your own eyes.
Well, yeah.
Are you accusing him of repeating something you heard somewhere else?
I mean,
Making
I
his
know,
own-
that's what we do.
In
Rick Roller.
video and pictures, if that's what you mean.
Oh, in video and picture. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, I didn't actually go to Peru. If that's
Oh, I'm
what
well
you mean.
aware. I know
Tell us a
that's a long
Yeah,
flight.
you guys bore me with your fucking trying to make me look bad.
This is the greatest day of this guy's life. This is the accomplishment of a
This is the
career.
second greatest day of his life. This is his second appearance. Piss Jug will be back many times too. This guy's a staple now, unfortunately.
I didn't realize that William Montgomery sidelined as a archaeologist.
Brought me nothing. I give it a 1.
Nothing.
I give it a
This guy looked like
1.5.
William Montgomery.
yeah. He did. Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
not sure. I got it.
No, we didn't get to even the best part of this episode. I
Whoa,
feel.
Simon! I said the floor is yours 3 times. Nothing, but
I
but you brought up the television show that you wouldn't really watch. But an interesting premise. Then you got Grey Owl, and there's something in between there. 3 excellent subjects for the Toast Show, which was the show right after the show.
Oh my god!
No, so maybe we didn't get everywhere with this guy, but we got a lot of places with you.
No, I just feel like they talked a lot of ancient civilizations and you didn't really get there in your notes.
He talked more about defending Graham. And Graham, actually, I'll reopen the discussion, should come off.
no.
He painted Graham as Indiana Jones. And if Graham should be that guy.
If Indiana Jones never made it into any archaeological sites, then yes.
Yes, with a whip and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Ready
No,
to
but
go.
like standing outside the gate, like, could someone please let me in? This is fucking absurd.
Apparently, Flint Dribble
Yeah.
Ruined his
lost his like tenure at his university
life.
and like his lying fucked him all up.
He'll be a woman next year anyway.
As it should.
Oh jeez.
As it should.
All right, well, that's it. We're done. Did you rate it, Simon? Please rate it so we can be done.
I give it a 3.
Oh.
2.5. 2.5.
In closing, since the post Joe will come out far after,
Toast Joe.
who's your pick for the Super Bowl? Come on, we obviously know who you're taking.
The Eagles.
Well, you need the Eagles to win for your pool,
That's
so
who
you're
I
going.
want to
Okay.
win, so
Eagles,
that's who I'm betting on.
And who are you going? You're going Eagles?
But I mean, listen,
Despite being dressed up like Patty Mahomes?
I think it could be one in the last play of the game. Though.
all
If I had an Eagles jersey, I'd be wearing it.
listen to Kamaru because all dynasties must come to an end.
Yeah.
Why is this, okay, sure. What's the score going to be? Final score.
I think the final score is going to be 30.
30 is a really tough score to get.
31-28.
27-38.
27.
Is that even possible?
It might be one of those scoreagami scores. It might be. I don't know. Okay. And you think so? Philadelphia 38,
27.
KC 27.
Yeah.
You should put $5 on that exact score.
Or whatever that fucking.
Yeah. I'm going to say 31-28 Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah. I
You're
think
just
they
going with
three-peat.
the book.
No, I'm going. I mean, listen, Patty Mahomes is insane. And I think Saquon's probably going to rush for like 140 yards.
I think all dynasties must come to an end at some point. History has taught us that, and it might just be that time.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
34-31 Chiefs.
Oh, so they had same as
Very
pretty
close.
close to me. Yeah.
Or 28-24 Eagles.
Interesting.
Or Chiefs 41.
Fuck you, ChatGPT. Simon, let me ask you a question. How long do you believe the Patriots dynasty lasted?
I think it lasted.
Well, that depends.
uh,
If the Chiefs lose this year, win next
6
year, they're
years.
still part of their dynasty.
I agree.
I agree with you too.
No. Yeah, but I'm asking you, how long do you think the Patriots dynasty was 6 years?
Yeah, like their great years there where they
Or
were
how long
winning
do you think
all
the Patriots dynasty was?
20.
I agree.
20?
I agree.
Really?
20. Yeah.
Wow.
I think you have a short memory.
Tom Brady played for 20 seasons.
24 seasons. I
Okay, it
believe.
was 16 years.
For real?
For real.
That's insane.
Yeah.
24 seasons.
I believe
Get
so.
out
Might
of
have
here.
been 22.
Oh,
That's a
Either way.
long career.
It's
Who's
insane.
commentating?
Tom Brady.
He's doing the Super Bowl.
He's doing the Super Bowl, yeah.
He sucks.
At commentating, you know.
So far, he'll learn.
Yeah, he's going to get better. I think he's too polished. You know what I mean? Like he's too robotic and polished. Like Tony Romo's out there drunk off wine. Like
Tony stunk in the beginning, too.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so there's our Super Bowl picks. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, maybe you're willing to go a step further. There's a Patreon if you want to support the show. Head over to patreon.com/JREE podcast. You can support the show for as little as $5 a month. For that $5, you get the Toast Joe, where you'll get the show after the show. It's the whatever.
It's where we cook.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Go support if you want. It is sweeps month, so this is the month to go support. We're doing great so far. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. Thank you to BetterHelp. Thank you to the Patreon. We hope you have a great week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a great weekend. And as usual,
Sorry for the weirdest episode ever. Keep your eyes open.